Hello, everybody. Welcome to my first 3 on Thursday in December. Can you believe that? And we only have 2 more Thursdays left in December. Oh, what a month it has been for me. Totally outrageous. But anyway, it's been a good month. I'm just running way behind. So as most of you know, we will be having a new mini catalog in January. There is still things available from our July to December catalog. So you don't want to miss out on those deals. You can find those at my website. So if you don't know what that address is, it will be typed in the comments for my store. Let's see. Oh, I just have to catch my breath here a minute. To know what I want to do first. Catalogs will be coming to you. I apologize, but I know that if you have placed an order since the 1st of December, it has taken a long time to get those orders. I'm still waiting for my order that I placed on the 2nd of January. So it's taking a little bit longer than usual to get the orders because of the amount of orders that Stampin' Up! Received with the release of some of the new product. If you are attending my calendar class the 31st of December, I am so excited for that. I have got a really bad shadow, so let me see if I can get that shadow gone. Nope, that's not the shadow. Because it's showing up, it's still showing up as a shadow on my end. Okay, now it's gone. I forget that I'm delayed on Facebook. Okay, so if you're coming to my calendar class the 31st of December, you will get your new mini catalog and the celebration catalog on that day. I was hoping to get them in for Stamp Club tomorrow, but of course they're going to be delivered tomorrow, and I can't promise that they will be delivered before I have to leave for class. If you are not coming to the calendar class, then you'll need to contact me by phone or email and make arrangements. I can drop one off to you, or I can send it to you through the mail and you pay the shipping for it, okay? So I still can't open the catalog since I haven't gotten them to my customers yet, but I can tell you that there is some fantastic products in this catalog. We're going to be using a couple of them today on our cards, but I have a last minute little treat holder that I want to share with you all. I'm running so far behind that a lot of people are going to get just little treat covers. So this is the little treat cover. It's holding a packet of hot chocolate and a little sucker and a mini candy cane and a piece of chocolate. Okay, so this is very easy and simple to make. Doesn't take any time at all to put together. Let me get my supplies picked up here. All right, so what you do need is a piece of cardstock that measures 4 by 11. So you can get 2 of these out of 1 piece of cardstock. Then you will need a piece of designer series paper that measures 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then you need some ribbon. And there's several different ways that you can do the ribbon on the top of these. This one here, for instance, I put a full length of ribbon down, and I will explain the staples to you in a minute. And then I tied a bow. Well, then I thought, well, why do that work when I can just tie the bow and then just attach the ends to the top of it? And then I have my little greeting that I punched out with the with this punch here. If you hear Daisy, she's chewing on her bone. This is the essential tag punch. So that's what I used to punch it out of white. And then I took a snowflake die and I just put it in the corner and then stamped Christmas cheer. If you have one that says a cup of cheer, that would be great. I didn't have, so we're making do with what I've got. All right. So let's go and make this treat holder. It's very simple. I'm going to show you the scoring measurements, and this is the scoreboard, which I absolutely love when I'm doing a lot of different scoring. So the first score line is going to be at 1 1/4, 5 inches, and at 5.5 inches. So I don't see anybody popping on just yet. Hopefully some people will. I sent out a notice that I was back. I know for the last, since Thanksgiving, we had Thanksgiving break and I didn't do one on that day. And then I left to go to California, and I was gone on the first Wednesday of December and driving home on the second Wednesday of December. So I've missed 3. And I do apologize. I had hoped to do one out in California, but it just did not work out. So you're going to burnish your score lines. All right, so this is going to be the top side of our holder, and this is going to be the bottom side. So that last 1 1/4 inch that we scored, it's going to get folded over so that it's like a little flap for us. Okay. Now you can use either a corner rounder with the regular rounded corners, but since Stampin' Up doesn't have one of those anymore, I am using the Trio corner punch here, and I'm using the little decorative side. So we're going to punch out the 2 corners on the top. And then we're going to also punch the 2 corners of our flap. So, okay, Pat's on and she's watching. Good deal. Okay, waiting for a few more. I may have lost everybody because I wasn't on for 3 weeks. That'll make me cry because I'm just talking to myself now. All right, so make sure that we have all of our score lines burnished really well. And we are going to now attach our designer series paper. And this is from the pack that was in the seller or in the mini catalog that ends in the end of December. That was the hostess gift. That you got tons of paper. You got 48 sheets of 12 by 12 paper, double-sided. Nope, yeah. Was that it? No, I am totally wrong. This is from Santa's Express. This is from the Santa Express paper. I'm sorry, everybody. I had thought about using the other paper, and then I chose and changed my mind. And I am using Poppy Parade as my base. And then I'm going to accent with some, this ribbon is old. It is discontinued, but I had it and I thought it is the, yes, shaded spruce and gold ribbon. And I thought it just kind of dressed this up. So just because you may not have the same exact things that I have, use what you have. Get rid of some of that old stuff that you have in your cabinets, and make room for some new stuff with the new year. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to first attach the flap, and I am going to use some tear and tape to make sure that that sticks down really good. Okay, and I'm going to put a piece down at the bottom. And I know it says it's tear and tape, but I want my edges to be nice and straight, so therefore I'm going to just cut it because it's, sometimes I don't get it cut squared out. Okay, I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool. And I don't know if any of you have had this problem, but my Take Your Pick tool has been used so much that it just kept popping out, the tip of it. So I glued it in there. And I got to get all that excess glue off from around it. But hopefully that will keep it in there and I won't have to keep worrying about it flying all over my table. Because I don't use the spatula end very much. And I have another one that I can just put the spatula end on and leave it. Okay, so we're going to fold that over. So now we have it that looks like this. We're going to take our ribbon and we are going to attach some tear and tape on the back of our ribbon to hold it down. And if you're using a sheer ribbon, then use your glue dots. Okay, and then you can try to cover them up with some embellishments or something. But the tear and tape works out well with what I'm using. Sure hope a few more people come on and hop on and watch us. I did send everybody a reminder, so hopefully, because I have sure missed doing my videos. It has not been the same doing it. We did have a great visit with my grandson out in California. He came through the surgery just fine on his shoulder. He is, however, going to be in this sling for 6 weeks. So it's been 2 weeks. So he's got 4 more weeks of that. And he is permanently, temporarily disabled in the military until February. So, okay, Cindy, you have to be in my Facebook group, Susie Q Stamping. What's the matter? Cindy said watching where, join where. So you need to go into my Facebook page, Susie Q Stamping.
If she's not on, she's not going to know how to get there.
Oh, yeah, duh. I'm talking and you're not on. So Dorothy is sending you instructions, Cindy, to get to. Yes, I know. Okay, so I'm just talking to myself and my assistant, who thinks she is so overworked, is making fun of me, which is okay because I think I am overworked as well. All right, so now all I'm going to do is I had a lot of excess ribbon, which is okay. We're just going to trim it off right at the edge. Okay, so is everybody ready for the holidays? I'm not. I have lots. Well, something just fell in my hallway, which was the table that we use for the Daisy gate. So Daisy doesn't get out and mess with the babies. I say babies are going to be 4 years old or more. All right, so this is where the little stapler comes in. You can use a regular size staple, but I have colored staples for this little mini one. So I'm going to use some gold staples, and I'm just going to staple the sides closed because you want it to be really secure. I tried glue and it didn't seem to work real well, and the double-sided tape didn't either. But you see here, there's a little extra width of a pocket. That's for us to put our goodies into. Okay. All right. So now that I've got that done, now I'm going to take my tag that I made, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of it, or on the back of it. Okay. And I'm going to just kind of stick it up underneath my ribbon up here so that it just kind of shows one corner of it. Okay, so there we have that. Now on the back, you can put whatever kind of greeting that you wanted to. Hi, Terry. How are you doing? I'm glad you got to join us today. I am so out of sync with 3 on Thursdays. Finally found me. Were you having trouble finding me? Because somebody else couldn't find me either, and I should be on Facebook. So it's just like always, unless they've changed things in the last 3 weeks that I didn't do videos. Oh no. Terry, I am so sorry to hear that you've got COVID along with your husband. That is not good. So I'm sure that you're going to be staying away from others. Okay, now I had a little snowflake that I punched out, but I think I've lost it on my table somewhere. So we'll add that later when I find it. Okay, now in order to keep, okay, so, oh, there it is. There's my snowflake. I'm so glad I found it. So now I'm just going to take a little dot of glue. You are home coughing. Didn't pop up as usual. Wonder why. I bet Facebook is doing some changes. Who knows? Okay, so I'm going to stick my little snowflake there, and I have some embellishments here. These are also retired. These are the adhesive back snowflakes that were from last year. But ladies, I have got so much stuff that when I'm using it for people that I'm giving things to, they're not going to know whether it is discontinued or not. So we are just using some stuff up. And that is one of these little snowflakes that are kind of going to glitter on the back. Okay. This stamp set is also from a discontinued stamp, Snowflake Wishes. Snowflake Wishes that was in last year. All right. Now, even you can get little spiced cider packets. So I've got some that have hot chocolate and some that have the spiced cider. These I picked up at Save-A-Lot. So I'm going to stick that down into my pocket. And this is why you kind of want it to be stapled so that that bulk will work out for you. Then I have a little miniature candy cane. And I did fold over the excess cellophane and I taped it. And then to keep it in place also, I am using some mini glue dots, and it'll stick to my packet of either the hot chocolate or the spiced cider. And you don't need to do this, but I wanted to make sure that they didn't fall out in transport when I handed them out to people. So I just kind of stuck that down. I have some little chocolates that I got from the $1.25 store. And I'm putting that on with a little mini glue dot. And they like to stick to my fingers. And I'm going to stick him right there in the center. And the little dum-dum sucker I also got from the $1.25 store. And I'm just going to stick that in there. Now to finish this off, we're going to take and give it some sparkle up here at the top. We're going to put on a couple more of those snowflakes because after all, I want to get rid of them. And then I'm going to put one down here on my little tag. So, what a cute little packaging, and very easy and simple to make. You can make these up in no time, ladies. You can get 2 of them out of 1 sheet of paper. that is our first project. And I'm going to really, really try hard to get at least the measurements and the photos, if not all the directions, posted out on my blog post. Like I said, I am running so far behind. I don't even know whether I'm coming or going. Okay, so that is the first project. Our second project is using a brand new stamp set that will be available January 5th from our January to April mini catalog. And it is called the Desert Details Bundle. So we have the Desert Details stamp set. So you have two borders that look southwest, and then you have some succulent flowers that look southwest. And I really like the greetings that they have here. You are what sunshine feels like. Let the fun begin. Your smile is pure magic. Sending warm rays your way. And then with the dies, I had just gotten these in before we left, and so I did not have time to cut them all out. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm covering up my assistant's cheat sheet. So here's what the dies look like. So you've got two different frames, and you've got a little southwest. Hi, Karen. Is everybody having problems getting on today? Must be because Facebook have forgotten me because I haven't been here for 3 weeks. And then a border and some other leaf foliage stuff. So that's the die set, and then the stamp set.
And these are in our new catalog?
These will be in the new January stamp set, or the new January mini catalog. Okay. Some of you, your boss was there. We'll invite her to join you, Karen. Tell her that she might enjoy taking an hour off and just, hanging out with us for a while, right? Okay, so here are our supplies. So this is the card we're going to make. And then on the inside, okay, I will leave yours blank. Something that we didn't do yet, and that was go back and look to see who won the cards from way back.
It was me, so no.
Okay. But we also, besides using the die and the stamp set, we are also using the Delicate Desert Designer Series paper. And I am hoping to have information posted in the next week or so about my paper share for the mini catalog. So this is what the paper is, one side. So you can see kind of like Southwest papers. And then over here on this side, there are other designs. Okay. I love this. So this is what we're using today, is a piece of this. And on the back side of this, then it has a different kind of print. And this is kind of just a green that could, and then this, I could see like a sunset type thing. That's what I'm envisioning. So anyway, the paper share will include a quarter pack of the 12 by 12 designer series paper. It will be cut 6 by 6. Yeah, if you hear Daisy, she loves to chew on her antler bone, and she chews very loudly.
She decides to take a nap when we're working and can talk.
Yeah,
Be noisy.
she
needs to be
right.
quiet.
But that's the way she was the whole trip out to California. She slept the whole way out and refused to let us sleep when we wanted to stop and rest, because we drove out there
You can't help
all the way on that first leg of the trip. We drove straight through. All right, so we are using Calypso Coral as our card base, and it's just your regular card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then I have a piece of the designer series paper, and I just cut the paper at my 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have our piece of white that is 5 1/4 by 4 for our inside. So this was just a really simple card that I decided to make up for us, showing the new product. I'm looking for my stamp. That's not it. Oh, it's right here. Ding, ding, ding. Your smile is pure magic. And my assistant has not been able to have the time to put all of my stickers on the. Daisy seems like she needs to have an entire area of my room herself. I don't know what her deal is, but we get used to it. Okay. Hi, Cherie. Did you have trouble getting on, Cherie, too? I'm just asking because some people said that they had a hard time finding me, and I think it's because I've been off of Facebook for 3 weeks. Okay. There we go. Make sure that it's up right because I don't have my tag on there. And I do only have one chance at making this straight because I don't want to mess up my designer series paper. Because I stamped it directly on my designer series paper. So you can't get me on the big screen. Oh, well, that's not a big problem. Just watch me on the small screen. I probably look better on the small screen. Okay, I'm going to make sure that this is on here straight. It's just a tad bit off. Where do I have my this? Alright, so I need to move up my your just a smidge. Okay, this has a lot of excess red rubber here that I might end up having to cut off so that it holding my breath. Oh, much better. Okay. Excuse me, ladies. I'll tell you what, this weather, and I know it's wintertime, I get that, but okay, so do you see the variation in this paper? It goes from like Calypso Coral, and it has Petal Pink, and then a yellowish color. I can't remember what colors are in the pack. But I'm going to put this side, I'm just going to leave it this side, and I'm going to put my words, let's see, if I put this over here and make it just kind of like the opposite of what I had my other card, because I want the Calypso Coral to show. And I do this. I lay out my things. And then we're going to pop up the small one. Okay. I'm going to stamp these. I already got these die cut, but I'm going to show you how I stamped them so that they were the 2 different colors. And then I think I'm going to put the Your Smile is Pure Magic over here, and I can cut that one down. Okay, so let's stamp this baby. And we're going to kind of get it to where it's in that yellow spot. Let's flip this around and do it up here. Yeah, let's see, up here. Make sure my paper's straight, though. I have felt like I am so disconnected with everybody and everything. I want to mention to you that today is free shipping on orders of $75 or more. I am planning on putting in an order today, probably this evening. So if there is something that you would like, but it's not going to be a $75 order and you don't want to pay shipping, if you let me know what it is, then you can just send me a check or pay me cash at class, and I can get that ordered for you. I'm wanting to get the other brand new paper so that I've got it to show you for the paper share. Okay, so what I did to stamp, and I just used a piece of scrap paper that I have. I'm just going to use this piece. So on my stamps, wherever I put them, there they are. I love these flowers. I just did not have a whole lot of time to experiment in doing different colors and shading and coloring and all that. So I did stamp off the big one from the Calypso Coral. Okay. I would say give me your orders no later than 7 o'clock tonight. And that way, since it is free shipping, I'm sure that the system may be bogged down and I may have to try several times to get logged in. So if there's something that you want, but you didn't want to spend $75 from the clearance rack or the regular catalog or the celebration catalog, let me know, and then I can just order it all under one order. Okay, so I stamped off on the big flower, and then I stamped the small flower. Okay, so those are our two flowers. That's how I stamped those. And I did wink a Stella them once I got them on my card. So we're going to attach our layer. This paper is so pretty that, I mean, it just speaks for itself. I love that kind of designer series paper. This is the back of it. So it's a totally different look that you can get. And we're going to lay this down. I need to move up, okay? See, I'm out of practice. All right. And now I did not use my adhesive, but that's okay because I didn't glue it all down anyway. This is cut out of the Soft Succulent, which is one of the colors that coordinates with this designer paper. And I am just putting some glue on some of the wider edges. And I'm going to put this one right here. And this one I might have to cut off, or it's just going to get kind of up that way. What I really like about stamping is, and you all know me, I don't like to duplicate cards. It's very hard for me. So even when I try to duplicate a card, something still is a little bit different on it. That's just the way it goes with me, because I like all of my cards to be kind of a one-of-a-kind deal. So there is that. Now the big flower, all I did was I glued it down because I didn't want a whole lot of dimension on this card. So we're going to glue this one right here. And then we are going to pop up with some mini dimensionals our small flower. Brand new sheet of dimensionals. Oops. I'll move up. Not that y'all need to see me put dimensionals on my, but sometimes it might help those that are new. So if you are watching me for the very first time, give me a thumbs up. If you are watching me on YouTube, because it will be on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. I normally come live every Thursday at 3 o'clock and show you 3 different projects, cards, whatever. Okay. Then our inside, what I did was I just stamped, and I stamped that little flower off on the inside so that it was just kind of more of a real light muted flower. So we'll stamp it off, stamp it down here in the corner. And yes, I have to say that the mountains are just absolutely gorgeous. I loved traveling through the mountains, other than the 39-hour drive that we had. Okay, so there is our first card. So what do you think of that card, ladies? Do you like it or not? I love that stamp set. I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of it when I get time to play. All right, so that's card number 1. Now let's go on to card number 2. Card number 2, we're also using a new set of stamps and paper and dies. And this set is called the Dainty Delight Bundle. So it has this stamp set to it that has these like wildflowers to it. And then this is like the Queen Anne's lace. And I like the fonts. Okay, I like this. The best is yet to come. And then it also has, these are the dies. So it has a lot of dies that don't necessarily coordinate with the stamp set. So like you've got this great big vine here. I guess these are little buds. You got some leaves and a daisy. This die here cuts 4 flowers out at one time. I'm not sure what that is. Like I said, I haven't had time to die cut them to see what they actually die cut look like. But so this is, and the paper that I'm using is called Dainty Flowers, and it is one of the free packs in the Celebration catalog. Okay, so what it comes with is 12 by 12 sheets, and you get 6 of these oval frames on one sheet. Okay, so you do have to strategically cut these out so that you've got the frames, and then you have 2 of the strips that are in the center. So it's kind of like this, and then the other 3 are on this side to make your 12 by 12. Okay, so that is, and then on the back of that, it's just a splattered watercolor look. All right, the rest of the paper, we have a piece that has all these different kinds of flowers, and then the back is more watercolor. This may look the same, but it is not the same, I don't think. Maybe it is. Maybe I cut it twice. I don't know. But you do get 6 different patterns. Then you get a sheet like this that is 12 inches long, and then you cut it down the center at 6 inches, and you have white area at the top or the bottom, depending on which side you're using. Then you have just some green foliage. Oops, I forgot to show you what was on the back of this. The back of this is all green that has white wildflowers on it. This is green foliage, and it's got purple polka dots. This is using the rich razzleberry. I'm really glad that they brought in a paper that goes with rich razzleberry, because it's one of those colors that we don't really use a whole lot. And then we have blue check on it. And then we have this one here. This one is different than the other one that I showed you. So I did have 2 pieces of that one. And then it has pink flowers, or pink background with white flowers. So that is a set of paper that you can get out of the mini catalog, or the Celebration catalog, I'm sorry. free with a purchase of $50. I am using Rich Razzleberry and Blushing Bride for my card base. So my card base is the regular card base at 8.5 by 5.5. My mat is 4 by 5.25. And then I took, and I thought I did. So what I did was I, 1, 2, 3. One of these is smaller than the others. The reason I know that is because I cut it down. There it is. What I did for this, because I wanted it to fit on a mat, I took 1/8 of an inch off of both sides and then just one of the bottom pieces. So like this piece here, I would take the 1/8 of an inch off down there because this is already pretty close to the top. So once you look at this paper, you just kind of strategically cut it to where you have the frame, the oval frame. Now, if you want a fussy cut, be my guest. But you all know that I don't really like to fussy cut that much. So this is how I decided to do mine, was just to do that. Now, I did decide on this to do, and I know I'm using the retired corner punch, but most everybody has a corner rounder, and if you don't, invest in one because they really kind of show off your cards. So I'm going to go ahead and round my corners of my flowered piece. I just thought it kind of made a nice addition to the focal image. Okay, so now we're going to attach that to, attach it upright, silly. We're going to attach that So yeah, I made a little note here. I trimmed down each side 1/8 of an inch so that I made it at 3 3/4. And then I trimmed the other direction to 4 7/8 so that it kind of had the same amount of width on all sides. And I wasn't going to get too picky with it. Except that is not straight, so we won't get too picky with that. Pick it up. The other stamp set that I'm using with this is the Charming Sentiments, and that's the one that has the sentiments that have the dies that match, that will cut them out. Okay, now we're going to attach this to our card base. And I'm just using my green glue in my precision point bottle that I have. Whoops, that's good. Just drop it. I did. Okay. We'll take that sticky off after it gets dry. Center it like that. I got sticky on my fingers. Uh-oh, what? Oh, yeah, sticky on my fingers. Okay. So I did not use any stamp sets per se. Well, I did on my inside, but not for my front part. So I had cut a piece of old olive. I cut a piece of that vine that had all the leaves on it. I cut 2 of my little stems for my flowers out of old olive. And again, I did not use my adhesive backed sheet because I knew that I could get these stuck down and not really worry about them because they're going to be stuck down with the bow. And then I have, or I'm supposed to have, 2 of the Queen Anne's lace. And I have lost one. It's on my desk somewhere. I know it is. Where did it go? I had everything in a bag. I am looking for this. There it is. Found it. It's been found. I'm so glad I didn't have to cut another one. All right, so then the first thing that I did was I kind of snipped off some of this at the bottom because I didn't need all of those leaves. So I just kind of snipped them off. All right, and I kept some of the stem because it's going to kind of show from the bottom of my tag. So we're going to lay that down. And I did not pop this up because I wanted it to be flat. I think I popped it up. Oh, no, I lied. I did pop it up so that it was popped up just a little bit. But what I did was I took my little mini dimensionals and I kind of cut them in half. So let me see if I've got a piece that I can use the skeletons off of. Why, yes, I do. Don't need to waste a full one. I can just do my little skeleton ones here. Because these are really narrow. Because I'm going to put them on my leaves. So, what all are you planning to do for Christmas? Are some of you going out of town? Are you staying home and having family come in and visit? I would like to know what everybody is planning on doing. That one's not going to work, so let's throw it away. Just need one more tiny little skinny piece to put right here. And you just kind of strategically place those where they're not going to be seen from the front. Cherie, you're just staying home. Are you having company come in? Is any of your family coming down to see you? All right. And I'm just going to kind of place this on top of my flowers because you can still see those flowers behind there. All right. Might need a pair of tweezers for this next step, but it is possible to do if I can pick it up. All right. So when I die cut these, I did not die cut you're not having family, but everything depends on the weather. I wished everybody would quit talking about the bad weather. So you're going to go to your hometown to see your brother. You're staying there in St. Louis on the 25th. Should be COVID-free by the 22nd. I hope you are, Terry. All right, I'm going to put just a tad bit of glue. And then I'm going to take my little stem and put it on the back. And I'm going to lay that on my, whoops, yeah, it just fell right off, didn't it? Let me move this stuff out of the way. I'm going to put this on my silicone mat so that I can kind of let it dry while I'm doing some other things. And like I said, I'm not too worried about it because it is going to be, that stem is going to be attached by a dimensional. You're having everybody at your house Christmas Day, and then you're off until the 1st. That's exciting, Karen. Well, we will be leaving for St. Louis Christmas Eve, and Noah's flight should be arriving from Maryland at 6 o'clock. So we're hoping for no bad weather and no delays in Maryland. And then we will be going to a restaurant to have dinner for Christmas Eve, which is one of our traditions. We usually go to Outback. So we're hoping for no delays because Outback is open until 9 o'clock. We've already called and checked. We're going to call and see if we can make reservations. We will spend the night in a hotel in St. Louis, and then we will drive back early Christmas Day because we have to drop Audrey off at her dad's for Christmas Day. So we'll come home and we'll just have a little bit of snacks and some soup. And I am looking, there it is. I was looking for my ribbon. We will have some snacky foods. And then on Monday, that is probably when we're going to do a lot of our Christmas presents and such, because we'll have Audrey and we won't be rushed because we decided that trying to do it in the hotel would be too much. It would rush us too much to try to get back. And if you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm trying to straighten up my little stems. Okay. Right before we left, okay, we dumped our entire box of Stampin' Blends. Now I'm talking a box about as wide as my camera space here and as deep as, well, maybe not quite as wide, but a good, you know,
It's
a
two
good
shoe box.
It's like two shoe boxes. And it was full. So I didn't want to go digging in it. So I just happened to find the dark rich raspberry. So all I'm doing is putting a little dot in the center of each of my little flowers. And those were die cut from the Blushing Bride. And I just used a scrap, so you don't have to worry about this card. Snacks, Maps, Walks, and Puzzle on the 25th. I always go to midnight mass. That'll be nice. Our church is having Christmas service Christmas Day, but we have kind of decided that there is absolutely no way we can get from St. Louis back to the lake in time for that. So that's not going to happen for us. All right. So I did use a half a dimensional on the bottom piece of the flower. Two reasons. I wanted to pop it up, but the other reason was it then held that little teeny tiny stem there in place. So let me put those on. That may be even too big. You might just have to kind of play with it to make sure that it's not too long. And mold it and shape it. There we go. I do like using my skeletons. All right, I'm going to place these down then. Come on. And I'm not even worrying about the stems getting glued down, because I know that when I place my dimensionals, well, now that was just really smart of you, Sue, wasn't it? You decided to put that dimensional on the wrong side of your flower. So let's just take that off and remove that. Yep, that was really smart. It's not like you didn't have rich raspberry dots showing you the right side, huh? So what are you talking about Oh, naps. I read it as maps. Okay, yeah, I'm all right there with you with naps and snacks and all that good stuff. I have to say that when we were in California, I did not get my naps. And this one, that stem just got, we have to turn that stem because it's not going the right direction, but it'll be all right. We'll just do it that way. I did not get my naps usually, and since California is 2 hours behind us, I was still getting up at my normal time, which was 2 hours earlier. Okay, so now I'm going to tie our bow, and this is my favorite white crinkle seam binding that I could color with my, well, that just didn't work out, did it? With my Stampin' Blend, which was the Rich Razzleberry. There we go. And I kind of want some big loops on this. I don't want it to be really tiny, tiny. So we're going to have some big loops. Maybe not a lot of cut our tails off here. Okay. And also I did on Rich Razzleberry, I did the Wishing You the Happiest of Birthdays, and I embossed that in white embossing powder. Okay. And this does get put on dimensionals, and I want my mini dimensionals. I don't want, there they are. And I used about 4 of these, I think, because they are just right for the very end of these. You can fit them on there. Daisy thinks that she's a typist. Okay, so now we're going to make sure that we have our stems pressed down underneath our dimensionals. Here is our bow and my glue dots. Except I don't want that bow quite that loopy. We're going to make it a little bit shorter. And then we'll cut the tails off. Right, we're going to take a glue dot. And we're going to stick the bow right, oops, stick that bow right above our verse or our greeting. And now we're going to cut off our little tails a little bit. Okay. There we go. That's the outside after let's see. Oh, yes. Daisy almost knocked over a cabinet full of stuff trying to get her bone. I am using some of the adhesive back sequins and gems. These, I believe, are in the mini catalog now. It might be in the main catalog. I didn't look. And I am using some of these purple ones. They're probably fresh freesia, but they're a light purple, and so I thought they still went well with the colors in this card. So there's our bling on our flowers. And then my inside piece of white. What did I do with it? Do I use it for my example of my stamping? No, that was on a piece of scrap paper. Y'all just find yourself losing things all the time? I do. And I'm really trying not to. Let me get another piece. That's an envelope.
Down.
I have been starting to just take several sheets of white paper and cutting them down right away, so I have a stash. All right, so here's our white paper, and we are going to use our little Queen Anne's lace. Block out. And we're going to use the Blushing Bride ink pad. And I stamped my greeting on the inside. I stamped it with the smoky slate because I wanted it to be softer than black. But yet I didn't want it to be real dark with the rich raspberry or, and the Blushing Bride is kind of light. So we're going to stamp off the bottom of the page so that it looks like those flowers are right there at the bottom. So just a little bit off the bottom. There we go. So they're just really light, but it just kind of adds something to the inside of that. And there is our other project for today. So I love this. You don't have to do a whole lot to it. Let me move all of the stuff out of the way. And we'll bring them all back in here.
Show off your sparkly nails.
Oh yes, do y'all like my Christmas nails? They'll be changing on the 27th for New Year's. I'm not sure what I'm going to get, but I love the snowflakes that I got this time for Christmas. Oh, there's Daisy. She doesn't hardly ever bark. She really doesn't. But when she does, boy, she lets it out with a big old wolf. Okay, so let me get the cards from the last 3 on Thursday that we had and announce the winner that Dorothy put in our drawing. To get the cards. And I do apologize, ladies. Boy, my desk is sticky. I do apologize. I had really hoped to go live on Thursday when I was in Vista. It just didn't work out. Noah decided that that's when we needed to go sightseeing. And how can you tell him no when he wants to take you to the ocean? Okay, card number 3. What do you think about that? Here is card number 2. And I found my Wink Estella pen. What happened to my Wink Estella pen? Here's my Wink Estella pen. Remember I said I Wink Estella'd my flowers? Nope, that's not the card I made. In front of y'all. This one is. So I just took my Wink Estella and I just kind of went over the darker areas. Not anything, no rhyme or reason to it. Just to give it some of that sparkle. And you could add sequins to this if you wanted to, but I wanted to just kind of keep it a simple note card to send to somebody. Okay. All right. And then we had our treat packet. So,
Sparkle makes everything better.
yes, sparkle makes everything better. Okay, so ladies, that is our projects today. Sorry, no problems. I will be back next Thursday with some more new projects with the new stamps and papers that are going to be in the upcoming catalog. Okay, so those are, now I will tell you this, that because by the time I get you this, you're not going to get this. I will send another card instead of this treat holder because that would be way too heavy to send through the mail. So, but if you are the winner next week of these, you will also get a third card that I will make up for you. Okay, so know that you're not going to get this. You're going to get 3 cards, these 2 plus 1. All right, our winner, can you believe it? It has been since the 17th of November. The 17th of November, a month ago, almost, since I was on. So here are the cards that we made last time. This was using the cottage rose paper. I better get this out pretty quick. Somebody's got a Christmas card there and another Christmas card that we made from one of the kits. So, Cindy Hampton, you are the winner for these 3 cards, and I will give these to you tomorrow night at class. So, congratulations, Cindy. If you are coming to class tomorrow, don't forget your card, your Christmas card to exchange, just one. Don't forget your snack. You do not need a whole lot of supplies. Basically, maybe a pair of scissors, your adhesive. Check your emails tonight. I'm going to send out a very short list because we're not going to take too much time. I've got everything prepped. All you're going to have to do is just kind of stick everything down because we want to have our party. And I've got a really fun game to play with you. All right. See you guys. We'll see you next Thursday at 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time. Y'all have a good weekend. Bye.